Right, so during this video blog, kind of my initial ideas of what I wanted to do for my short film, I'm going to be holding up a variety of mind maps that I've actually drawn. So if you want to pause throughout this video just to read some of the mind maps, then that's fine. So the first mind map I did want you to just have a quick look at is I've actually mind mapped all the codes and conventions that I want to include into my short film. So yeah, nope, where is it? Here it is. This is the one here. So if you want to pause the video at any time, just to get a good look at that one there. So yeah, so really kind of when we started this initial idea, I first came up with the idea of I wanted to have a go kind of playing with different lighting. So we then came up with the idea of possibly having this idea of like a black and white world, and this person who actually dreams in colour. And this is actually kind of gone quite far. And I was asking my teacher, and he told me to research some lighting called, I think it's called, is it chiaroscuro lighting? And I was looking this up, and it says it says here it's used to indicate extreme low key and high contrast lighting. This is used quite well in the film called Barry Lyndon. It's used in the Prezi below. I've included the short scene it's used in. I can't remember how many tea lights he said they'd used, but they basically, to light the entire dinner hall there, they used all candlelight to actually light it up. So I think that's what I want to get with my film. I want this idea of colour. So this is one of my other mind maps here. This is my mind map of ideas. If you want to pause just to take a look at this one here we go. Alright, so on here it says my inspiration. My inspiration actually came from a quote that someone had actually said about the director Tim Burton. Right, so it says here, a world where darkness cohabits with bright colours, where weird-looking people and monsters are brave and generous, and where the horrible becomes poetic. And I really think that's where I want to take my inspiration from. So from this I kind of took the inspiration of, in this black and white world, possibly we can have this idea of it's like really sad. It's a horrible thing. Kind of like colour is no longer there. Possibly the main character, we then came up with the idea of possibly lives in a horrible family only with her father, possibly quite an abusive family as well. And then we have this idea of the dreams. Now the dreams are kind of, they want to illustrate kind of the perfect world. So kind of like the impossible, making the impossible possible, if that makes sense. So kind of like having this black and white world, and then when this main character goes to sleep, she kind of dreams these colourful dreams of like vibrant colours. Possibly this is what the world would have been like before the colour was actually banned. And I was researching into a director of photography called Roger Deakins. I like the idea of how he uses a lot of rule of thirds, and this is where my third mind map comes in here. These are the different films that I've actually had a look at. So it says here, one of the ones he's been the director of photography for is actually a True Grit. It's a modern take on quite an old film. But I was having a look, and it's a scene is included in the Prezi below. It looks like a gritty feel to it. Has that gritty look. It kind of I want to include that in my film. That kind of, it doesn't need to be absolutely perfect. I want to kind of make it look like there's work being done there. So I like the work of the rule of thirds he's done on there as well. And then back to this film of Barry Lyndon, where it uses this type of lighting, and I've already explained how it's used in the dinner hall to kind of used all candles just to light that room up, and I found that absolutely amazing. And there's a film called Schindler's List, right? And this is where my other idea came from. I've taken the idea of the girl in the red coat. and really I want to illustrate, so kind of like at the end of the film, this our main character is going to be walking somewhere. She's possibly just had a falling out with a family member, and she's walking through this horrible black and white world, and possibly she then finds something of colour in a vibrant colour in this horrific black and white world, possibly then to show a symbolic of hope, using their Bath's theories. And one of the other films I've researched is one of the Harry Potter ones, preferably the ones David Yates directed. I really looked at Deathly Hallows Part 1 and 2. I want to get that in my film. I want to get that dark and kind of evil feeling to it, but I also want, in these like 5 minutes that I've got to do this short film, that I want the audience to kind of fall in love with my characters. So and then the last film that I had to research, I saw it the other day, was Scorch Trials. It's the second film in a trilogy, I think it is, of the Maze Runners. And I really like the idea, kind of like you feel the character's pain. So there's a bit in the film where one of the characters we've literally only just met, but I instantly kind of fell in love with this character. I kind of, I was kind of like, I knew how the character felt, and he then dies in the film, and it kind of like, I felt the pain of that character, if that makes sense. So I also like the way that Scorch Trials plays with the lighting a lot. It's not just bright lights, and it's not all dark. It's a mixture of both, which is what I want to get into. I want to fit into my film, and it also has had a big plot twist. Obviously, I haven't read the books, and I didn't want to watch the trailers because I didn't want to ruin the film. So I didn't have a clue that was going on. And there's a line in the films where one of the main characters says, "You'll never survive one day in the scorch." I was thinking, "Ooh, what's the scorch going to be?" And as they coincided, I thought, "Oh, it's just a desert," but it's not. It's this flipped situation of this perfect city suddenly just so desolate and destroyed. So yeah, I think what I can drag from here, what I really want to do for a film, coming from all these initial ideas that I've got, I want to play with lighting. I want this idea of a dark world, and kind of like a dark world mixed with vibrant colours. So thank you.